There is a growing concern in Kingston regarding primary school places. How do you intend to meet the increasing demand for school places in the next few years, and how would you guarantee that all children in Kingston are educated at good schools?
I mean, I think that the answer to this question also lies in investment in public services and trying to protect the schools that we have from privatisation. I mean, this is probably more of a problem with maybe secondary schools and universities. I'm not sure about primary schools, but actually they're covered under the academies stuff as well, right? Yes. So protecting them from privatisation, I think, is a really important thing to do. I think that increasing investment is the best way to do that, and increasing access to good schools for everyone. I think one of the things that's very important is to make sure that the teachers are paid as much as they should be paid, and to ensure that they're not that good people, good teachers are not being forced out of the profession because they can't afford to live as teachers. And I think that there's another element to this, which is that, in order to make sure that children get a good education, we also need to make sure that they're in a fit state, that they're in a fit kind of home environment and nurturing environment to make sure that they're able to learn. So, for example, I read a statistic recently that something like 4 or 5 students out of every classroom in Kingston are living below the poverty line. So that's, I think, below £16,000 a year for a household or something like that. And these kinds of things have been shown to reduce the ability of children to learn in a classroom environment. So I think, as well as maintaining investment in schools and in teachers, we also need to invest in families and invest in children and make sure that nobody is living below the poverty line, least of all these children.
Education is a massive priority for me. It's very important to me that all children get the very best start in life so that they can compete in our economy by going to fantastic schools. And over the course of the last 5 years, over 1 million more pupils are studying in good or outstanding schools in this country. In Kingston we do have a school places shortage, but it's a shortage that's been met in the short term by allocation made by the new Conservative Council, and in the long term, Education Secretary Nicky Morgan, who is actually from Surbiton, has allocated £4.5 million for school places funding in Kingston. But that does not solve the problem. It's clear to me that we need at least 2 new primary schools in Kingston, and this is something which should have been planned for a long time ago. And I see it as one of my key responsibilities as MP for Kingston and Surbiton to push for additional primary schools, not just expanding classroom sizes or expanding facilities in current schools, but building 2 entirely new primary schools. Obtaining the funding for that would be a key priority for me.
Well, first and foremost, there's a problem with overdevelopment in Kingston. So all these flats are just being built, such as, for example, alongside the river, just crammed into really small places without any kind of consideration of the broader area. And you have lots of people in one place without the services they're going to need, such as schools and also GP surgeries and things like that. So that needs to be looked at in the way that flats are being built in the area. But also an issue we have with education at the moment is academies and free schools, I'd say. We need comprehensive education for everybody, and schools should be accountable to local people as well. So we think we need to bring academies and free schools back under local authority control. And we need to build more schools, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. But as I said, comprehensive education, publicly funded and accountable to local people, and that's going to resolve our issue.
Well, I think that's a key point there. Make sure that all Kingston students are educated in good schools, because there's some people in UKIP and some Tories actually that want to bring back grammar schools, and they want to bring back grammar schools because they say that grammar schools provide an excellent education for their children. I don't doubt that. I think that's absolutely right. But I want an excellent education for all children, not just those lucky enough to get into grammar schools. So once again, it's about the equality and fairness agenda. We want all children to have an excellent education, not just a privileged few. And that's a thing that's going to run through all of our manifesto and all of our policies. It's all about for the many and not just the privileged few. And in education, we'll make sure that all children have a qualified teacher in the classroom, not someone that doesn't know what they're doing. That someone may be brilliant at their subject. They might be a great physicist, but they can't control a classroom. And I think children need properly trained teachers. We're also going to limit class sizes from 3, 4 and 5-year-olds to 30 to make sure there is that kind of individual personal touch between the teacher and the child, because at the moment too many classes are way above 30 and I don't think that makes a very good education. And we will fund decent schools. We'll stop the free school programme, because that means that anyone can set up a school anywhere, and what's happening is that free schools are being set up where school places aren't needed, and schools aren't being built where school places are needed. So we'll prioritise school building where school places are required, and we'll stop that free school programme.